Hey everyone, Dread Joker here, and finally, after about a week of working on this thing on and off with just long enough to sleep, I have finally completed Project Junkyard. Now, under the working title, what Project Junkyard was is my attempt to take nothing but salvaged parts and, well, I can't say nothing but salvaged parts. It's my attempt to use as few store-bought parts as possible, not counting glues or the parts that are obviously had to be store-bought. The rest of this stuff I have had on hand for months. The only thing I did not have was the base for it that I had to go to a Goodwill to find, but I knew I'd find it there. Now, without further ado, let me display Project Junkyard, which is very, very heavy because I could not crack this thing open to remove the electronics. So what this is it's a custom dual disc. Got the arm mount right here, handle grip up front, deck boxes, Ultra Pro deck boxes, because quality. They are completely empty, but they both open and close. And for the field zones here, you may notice this mass of ugliness up here. I could do nothing about this, but because I had to hot glue this down, because otherwise I would have permanently sealed the cards in here. So what I did was I took a bunch of those collector's card sleeves and I overlaid them on top of the board, and I offset them just enough so that there is a gap, a very, very tiny gap. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but there is just enough clearance to... Here, let me bring in some cards. Yeah, let me set that down. Cards. And reposition the camera, because I am not good at working on my rear end. Okay, let's bring the disc up here. Set like so. Come on, lock in. There we go. So take any card. For attack mode, you want to go to layer 2. And just place the card and just slide it right on in. For defense mode, because I did a 5-4-5-1 layer, which means I did 5 for the spell and traps. Then I laid horizontal 4 cards, or card protectors, sideways, so that way I could work with a wider field, because I didn't want it to protrude out this way, just in case I wanted to add electronics at some point. Then I put 5 more zones over the top of the horizontal ones, and then 4 on top of them, because the 4 actually act as... Here, let me just grab... Okay, let's just take Solar Windjammer here, and just slide it in horizontally on layer 2. No, 3. Sorry. Layer 3. Let's put a Starlight Road down here. Tuning wear in... Now, I had to do the top one separately, so that's its own thing, so it kind of overlays this one, but... You know, work with what you got here. I mean, this is a prototype, too, and I mean, it's not getting remade, so... I mean, this thing took a week of my life, and I am not looking forward to doing it again, so... Bring all that in there, and just because I don't have a field spell in my deck, I'm just going to put Smashing Ground in the field zone. You there. You there. You there. There, let me bring in some more cards from my extra deck. Colossal Fighter. Okay, your defense zones... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1 zone left, and Stardust Dragon. Now, this is... Okay, so a couple of the zones aren't super secure, but I mean, if you just tilt the cards so that they make contact with the glue, it will hold them pretty securely. Because now, I'm going to take the entire project Okay, so if you turn it straight up and down, gravity is going to be your mortal enemy, but it will work. And oops, actually hit the camera. Let's just get the cards out of here. And this thing took, I want to say, maybe $40 to make at absolute most, because the skateboard is actually a piece of failed video game technology. It's from the Tony Hawk Ride game. And so I decided to use that as the base because, one, I knew it was very common to find. I knew it would be very cheap, and I knew about almost any Goodwill would have it. So, but onto the arm mount. Let me just tilt the camera up a little bit. Now, the arm mount itself is very simple. I took a piece of PVC pipe that I had, and I took the battery cover off this thing because it is never going to work anymore after what I did to it. I tried to take it apart, and yeah, that went well. Freaking mom was upstairs going, "What the hell are you doing down there?" Because I was making enough noise that made it sound like I was using a jackhammer. But then what I did was I drilled 4 holes in the battery cover because it was the only part that came off. And then I used zip ties to secure the piece of PVC pipe to it. And as you can see, I used the really long ones. Got them at the dollar store because they're exactly the same quality as you can get it anywhere else. And then on the inside here, I completely dumped an entire container of future glue into it. So this thing is dead solid. Like, it has a little bit of give to it, but that's because of the battery cover. Then up front here, I drilled 2 holes and used a piece of, I don't know where this metal came from, but it was perfectly handle shaped. So just slide my arm in and grab it, and it works really well. It works, and buttons still work, but battery don't. And the battery cover is no longer removable because it is now super glued on. But this project was started because I have one of the original Battle City dual discs, and unfortunately I could not find any replacement parts for it, so I could not use it. So I had to improvise one for that, and I figured, you know what, while I'm at it, let's just make an entire another dual disc just so I can have a standing duel if I want to. Because why not? But as a little happy accident, I can pull this back all the way and it will lock open for easy loading of a deck. Then just close it up. And you may notice that there's only 2 zones here and no slot for an extra deck. That is because I did not have enough room and I did not have the resources to make an extra deck holder. So instead I'm going to be using one of those belt buckle holders that I got from that loot box I got a while back from eBay. So yeah, and the graveyard also works. There's no locking mechanism on this one, but I mean, I went all out. Just to give you an idea of how secure these deck boxes are, let me just lay the disc like this, grab the deck box, sorry for the shaking, and I will lift the entire thing up by the deck box. This thing is not coming off. But this thing, and this was all because I did not want to spend, and you're going to probably your jaws are probably going to drop at this one, the average price of a dual disc, prop, or anything on eBay or Amazon is around $100. And the $100 ones are just props. They won't let you play the game at all. They're just cosplay props. A regular dual disc, a Battle City one, will go around $50. The GX one you can get for $60 or so, but it's not great. Anything else will run you $120 to $400, which is an utter ripoff. You can build one. I have just demonstrated it. You can build one for far less. You can get a pack of 35 of these for $5. Each of these was 2. I got this for $6 at Goodwill. I got this for 50 cents at the hardware store. Well, actually a thrift store, but they have a hardware store inside. Glue guns and the glue sticks I got at the dollar store. So there is no reason that you cannot build one of these in your own style for far less. And I wanted to paint this, but if I did, I would have lost the traction pad here. So it would not let me work like that. So, you know, whatever works. But yeah, this has been a pretty good project, and it's something that I've wanted to do ever since I first saw the design. And you may note I just used a single field design, like a single piece design, because intrusive gimmicks are evil. So there's not going to be any flipping parts, no lights and sounds yet. Like, I do not have a life point counter on this, but that's because I do not know how to wire things correctly, and I'm tired of zapping myself. So if I ever figure out how to wire something correctly and get it all attached to this and get it all wired up and stuff like that, I will show the upgrade. But until then, this project is now 100% complete, and it has been totally worth the journey. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will be bringing more content very soon. Thank you.